If you've been drowning in LSAT study materials, cramming endless practice sessions, and still not seeing the payoff you hoped for, you're not alone. In fact, you may be experiencing LSAT burnout. It's that gnawing sense of exhaustion where no matter how many hours you put in, your scores remain stuck or worse, start to slide backwards. Today, I'm going to debunk the myth that more studying always equals better results and show you how to use strategic rest to reach your true potential. First, for those who don't know me, my name is Steve Schwartz. I've been teaching the LSAT since 2005, and I personally increased my own LSAT score from a 152 to a 175. Now, let's begin with a concept that's often misunderstood: burnout. We toss this word around a lot, but what does it really mean in the context of LSAT prep? It could involve emotional exhaustion, where you feel tired, but there's also an emotional toll. Maybe you find yourself getting irritated or discouraged more easily. And even though you're technically studying, you're not really learning. It could also involve cognitive overload. Of course, the LSAT is a test of thinking and reasoning skills, but if you keep pushing your brain past its capacity, you reach a point where new information just doesn't stick. And as a result, mistakes start to creep in, especially careless ones you know that you shouldn't be making. And as a result, you see a drop in your performance, even though you've devoted entire weekends or worse, months of 8-hour study days, but your scores are flatlining or dropping compared to your original baseline. Burnout is not laziness. It's just a signal that your mind needs a structured reset, not more frantic cramming. Now, of course, I know we live in a culture where hard work is glorified and putting in more hours is often seen as the path to success. But the LSAT is not a test you can cram for. It does not reward brute force. Instead, it rewards precision, clarity, and efficiency. And as a result, over-prepping can actually be destructive because, of course, you tend to see diminishing returns after a couple hours of high-quality focus. You see your ability to retain and apply new insights plummeting. You also will experience increased anxiety where each new practice session feels like a make-or-break moment, which will only magnify any test day jitters. And you could be reinforcing bad habits because when you're mentally fatigued, you become more likely to skim, guess, or gloss over subtle nuances, which actually cements flawed reasoning patterns. Now, I know that the more exam or die approach might work for a short-term cram session in some settings, but the LSAT requires deep reasoning and careful reading, so it does not respond well to burnout. Now, I'm going to share with you a targeted set of strategies that ensure you're optimizing your brain power rather than draining it. Here are the 4 core pillars. First, daily study time habits. Second, weekly recovery days. Third, longer breaks when you need to. And finally, smaller, deeper drills. Let's dig into each one. First, daily study time limits. The idea here is that you are restricting your prep to around only 3 hours of focused study each day. The reason behind this is that after a couple of hours of true intense concentration, your brain starts to reject new information. And instead of building mastery, you end up rehearsing mental fatigue. To implement this, you want to break your studying into 45 or 50-minute blocks, then take a 10-minute break where you get water, stretch, step outside, and you are not just pushing through. Rest is part of the process, not an optional add-on. Remember that doing a smaller amount of high-quality work is way more valuable than slogging through 8 hours of half-hearted practice. Now, secondly, weekly recovery days. This is where you designate 1 or 2 full days per week with 0 LSAT studying. Yes, I said 0. Skills are like muscles. They grow in the rest phase, not during the workout. And so when you are constantly stressing them, you're breaking them down without the recovery. Recovery days help your brain internalize patterns and lessons, but you've got to build them into your study calendar ahead of time and use them wisely and deliberately. This is a time to see friends, exercise, take care of errands, whatever it is, anything but the LSAT. Now, if you find yourself tempted to sneak in just a few LSAT questions, remind yourself that rest is actually part of your prep strategy. Now, before I move on, I want to mention something important. If you're struggling with burnout, or if you feel that you need targeted help to structure your LSAT study plan, check out the links below. At LSAT Unplugged, we actually create personalized day-by-day plans for all of our students, incorporating these strategies and also addressing your unique strengths and weaknesses. Having a coach to guide you can make all the difference between spinning your wheels and making real, measurable progress. So if you're ready for the next step on your journey to scoring a 170 plus, check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. Now let's talk about when to take longer breaks, because sometimes just a day or two isn't enough. If you've been pushing hard for several months, a longer break, like a week or even two, could be a real game changer, because prolonged stress will lead to burnout, and a short weekend sometimes might not be enough to fully reset your system. But a more extended break can totally re-energize your mindset. So look at your test timeline. If you've still got weeks or months till your official LSAT, you might want to take a week or 2 weeks off if you're feeling burnt out. During this time, mentally disconnect. Beyond just setting aside your LSAT materials, give yourself permission to not think about the test. Go on a trip, tackle a personal project, or maybe just binge watch Netflix. Then, after the break, ease back in. Don't jump into your toughest sections first. Start with something more manageable to rebuild your confidence. Now, finally, smaller, deeper drills, because sometimes what you need might not be a full test or an individual section, maybe just 5 to 10 questions that you're doing as a batch. You then analyze them deeply, every wrong answer, every right answer, because mastery comes from understanding why each choice is right or wrong, not just from raw repetition, but deep review. Using a strategy like the Socratic review method, you'll cement the logic in your mind. So again, we're picking just 5-10 questions, dissecting them thoroughly, then verbalizing or writing out the reasoning. You might verbalize it with a coach or a study buddy, or writing it out in your mistake journal to teach the logic back to yourself, which then solidifies your understanding. Now remember, the LSAT is a unique challenge, but it doesn't have to be a punishing grind. By adopting these strategies, daily time limits, weekly rest days, longer breaks when you need to, and smaller, deeper drills, you're setting yourself up for more efficient learning and stronger results. Burnout is not a personal failing. It is a symptom, rather, of a flawed study strategy. But the good news is strategies can be changed. And remember, more hours won't guarantee better scores. Smarter hours will. If you'd like my help setting up a plan like this, incorporating it into your prep from now through test day on your journey to 170 plus, again, check out the links below to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.